Shall we have an honest conversation about the $250,000 Square Capital's no credit check business loan, especially how to get approved? Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sturdy Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you had to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's discussion, I want to speak to you about the $250,000 Square Capital's no credit check business loan. How do you get approved? Before I get into the actual nitty-gritty, please understand that this video is purely informational and purely educational. We have no affiliation, no relationship with Square Capital. They have not paid us to do this video. Okay, let me give you an overview here. So when we speak about Square Capital loans in general, you have three things. There is a trifecta you need to pay attention to. Number one, you have loans that range from $300 to $250,000. Yes, you heard it right. $300, okay? That's the minimum. And the maximum, $250,000. That's number one. Number two, you get a customized offer based on your sales through Square. In other words, you have to actually process your credit cards and debit card sales through Square. This is kind of analogous, if you will, to what you see with the PayPal and Stripe, right? So those are competitors of Square Capital. So you need to process your sales so they can see your transactional volume to be able to approve you. This is a no credit check business loan, so they need to actually base their lending decision on something, right? That's number two. The third thing is that there is no ongoing interest, just a simple flat fee. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Are you currently using Square to process your sales, or are you using a competitor? Are you using Stripe or PayPal? Because if you are using Square, this could be a good opportunity for you. You might want to give this loan, this no credit check business loan, a try. Because basically, not only is it a very flexible loan, you can repay automatically with a percentage of your daily card sales through Square. You pay less on slow days and a little more when sales are strong. We love that flexibility. We love the fact that this is a loan that actually adjusts based on the cyclicality and the seasonality in your business. And you don't have to schedule any payments. Square Capital just asks that you meet your minimum every 60 days. This is pretty identical to what PayPal requires. PayPal wants you to meet your minimum every 90 days, but with Square Capital, it is a 60 days. So this is pretty good. Let's talk about the loan details here, folks. We are still having a conversation in today's show about Square Capital's no credit check business loan. Maximum loan amount $250,000, minimum $300, okay? How do you actually repay this loan? So you get a fixed percentage of your daily card sales that is automatically deducted until your loan is fully repaid. And as I was saying earlier, there is an element of seasonality here. So if your sales are up one day, you will pay more. If you have a slow day, you pay less. A minimum of 1/18th of the initial balance must be repaid every 60 days, okay? 1/18th. And you can actually request a different loan amount. So if you would prefer a different loan amount, you need to use the slider in your dashboard to select the amount that best fits your business, okay, up to your maximum offer amounts. And as you adjust your loan amounts, the flat fee and percentage of daily car sales change accordingly. So again, this is the kind of offer that you can only see once you have a Square Capital account or a Square account. And in terms of eligibility, so people are asking, if this is a no credit check business loan, what kind of criteria do they pay attention to qualify you? Now, loan eligibility is based on a constellation of factors related to your business. Obviously, they pay attention to your transactional volume, that's for sure. They pay attention to the ins and outs, the cash inflows and cash outflows, right? But most importantly, they pay attention to your payment processing volume, your account history, and the payment frequency. And one thing that's also important is that you can actually make prepayments at any time at no additional cost. So, some business loans, they have those prepayment penalties. Square Capital does not have that. No, not at all. And the total amount you owe does not change due to prepayments. And if you miss a payment, this could happen. Stuff happens, right? If your daily card sales cannot cover the minimum payment, Square Financial Services may debit the remaining minimum payment amount due from your Square linked bank account. You have to link a bank account, preferably a business bank account, to your Square to your Square dashboard, to your Square client account. Okay, and one thing I also want to say here is that Square will never ask you for a personal guarantee. There is a no credit check, no personal guarantee, and they base everything on the transactional value, the sales value. Let's talk about who this loan is for. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. You currently have Square as your card sales processor. Okay, fantastic. But the other question is this loan for you? Now, based on our analysis, there are three categories of businesses that will benefit from this business loan, this Square Capital's no credit check business loan. If you use Square point of sale services, so you have to be a Square customer to qualify for a Square business loan. That way you keep everything within the Square ecosystem. You make money through them, they make money off of you. It's a win-win situation. It's pretty fine. They have all the data they need. They don't need anything else. They're not asking you for your credit score. They're not asking you for your financial statements. They really don't give a about your financial statements. All they need is the data, the money coming in and going out. That's all they need. Okay? I mean, sometimes you go to a regular bank and the bank wants to check everything, right? They want to have all kinds of information about your business, but Square Capital does not give a about anything. They only care about the data that goes through their system. So that's number one. You need to use Square point of sale services. Number two, you need to process. This loan might be a good fit for you if you process a large, consistent volume of credit card sales. Okay, remember that Square business loans are repaid using a fixed percentage of your daily credit card sales, right? So if you're having consistent, or let's say insufficient sales, this could leave you with a large sum to pay when your loan matures. So you don't want that. Okay, and remember the requirements, right? You have a requirement of what? 1/18 of the initial balance must be repaid every 60 days. 1/18. The third element here is that you might actually love a Square Capital's no credit check business loan if you only need to borrow a small amount. So while Square offers loans up to $250,000, depending on your sales history, it's best to stick with smaller dollar loans given the fixed fee. Remember, that fee can go from 10% all the way to 16% of your total loan amount. So you want to really stick to a smaller dollar loan and repayment structure. That way you control your history, you control your liquidity, and you're comfortable making the payments, because we all know seasonality is there, cyclicality is there. Sometimes sales go up and sales go down, and you want to be able to manage things accordingly as your sales, you want to manage things accordingly based on the ebbs and flows that you see in your sales processes. Let me talk to you about the pros and cons here, folks. We are still having a conversation about a massive Square Capital's no credit check business loan and how do you actually get approved. First, the maximum loan amount is $250,000. Okay, so I've been talking to you about the overview, loan details, who the loan is for. Now I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of this loan. What are the pros here? The pros: you have an easy application process. You have transparent pricing, no additional fees, right? You only get a one-time fixed fee that oscillates from 10 to 16% of your total loan amount. And there is no prepayment penalty. That's, I think, in a nutshell, the pros. What about the cons? This loan is only available to Square point of sale customers. You have short terms and small borrowing amounts, daily payments using percentage of credit card sales, and potential for a large payment due when loan matures. So this is something you need to think about, and you have to be very careful in terms of planning here. Let me dig a little deeper here. So here are the reasons to use Square Business Loans, the process. So the application process is very easy. As long as you have a Square account, you're fine because Square already has access to your transaction and sales records. You have upfront information, so you know exactly how much you will owe before accepting a financing offer. And then there's no prepayment penalty. Now, the one thing that you need to be very careful about is the fact that you have short terms and small borrowing amounts. Square's maximum borrowing amount is $250,000, which is smaller than loans offered by most lenders, and the average Square loan amount is $6,000. You hear that? $6,000, based on our analysis. So while the low limit is handy for covering everyday expenses or small inventory purchases, it will not help you with big expansions or major growth opportunities. Okay, and if you don't receive, if you do receive, let's say you do receive an amount on the higher end, you only have 18 months to pay it back. Remember that every month you have to pay 1/18 of the total loan amount. So you only have 18 months. It's like a year and a half. Okay, and so those are things you need to pay attention to when planning whether or not you should apply for a Square Capital no credit check business loan. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Security Kiwi Show. We are actually having a conversation about Square Capital's no credit check business loan, and I want to give you a loan example. I know I've been talking about you need to pay back 1/18 of the loan amount every month, and this could be a little confusing. So, big decision time. Let me ask you a question. First of all, do you qualify for the loan based on the criteria I've been giving you? And if yes, how much do you want to borrow? How much do you want to borrow? So the way you really qualify for this loan is very simple. Unlike more traditional lenders with products that may be available to any qualified small business owners, Square loans are available to only small businesses that use the Square point of sale product. So Square basically will send you a pre-qualification loan offer to eligible, if you're an eligible small business that uses their POS system, then it's fine. Because Square has access to your transaction and sales history through the system, it uses your current financial information to determine the loan amount and terms. Okay, and the thing here is that you can then choose the loan amount that's right for your business needs. If you want a loan but haven't received an offer, you can just take a short survey that helps Square analyze your business. When determining loan eligibility, the company will consider your payment frequency, the processing volume, so typically $10,000 or more per year, and your business's mix of new and returning customers. They pay attention to that a lot. And one thing you need to, let's go through an example here. Let's say that you have a loan amount of $10,000, right? The fee is, let's say 12%. So that will be $1,200. So if you add 10,000 to 1,200, you have a total payback amount of $11,200. And the percentage of daily sales for repayments, 11%. So in this example, if your sale, let's say if your sales were $1,000 on a given day, you would pay back $110. That's 1,000 times 11% daily, right? And if you maintain similar sales each day, your total loan cost of $11,200 will be paid back in a little more than 3 months. However, if sales were slow and you only paid the minimum every 60 days, you would owe $5,600 when the loan matured at 18 months. So this is the kind of consideration you need to think about. Let's talk about the use of loan proceeds, folks. In this show, I'm still having a conversation with you about a massive loan from Square Capital. The loan is a no credit check business loan. Maximum loan amount $250,000. Now, in terms of use of loan proceeds, you basically have a choice. It depends on the health of your business, in terms of liquidity, in terms of predictability of the sales. You can use the money for nearly everything, actually. But remember that the repayment term, the limit is 18 months. So this is something that's very important. For example, you can use the cash for equipment and machinery. As long as you are willing to actually repay everything rather, in 18 months, then you're fine. So you can use the loan proceeds for everyday operations. You can use the money for equipment, machinery, tenants improvements, inventory. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Do you currently have a shortage of inventory, or let's say you are in a sector where seasonality and cyclicality plays an important role? Do you have enough inventory on hand, or do you need to pay it and store it? This could be a great opportunity if you want to use the Square Capital no credit check business loan. You can also use the money to actually start a franchise, for example. Again, it's all about how much money you have coming in the next 18 months. You can use the money for nearly anything. As long as you are sure that you can repay it within 18 months, everything is fine. Because if you can't cover that every month, at least 1/18th of the amount, then just be sure that you have enough cash at the end of the maturity to repay the loan. You can also use the money to expand your existing business to stay competitive. We've seen people who used a Square Capital's loan to initiate online advertising campaigns. I'm talking massive online advertising campaigns. You can also use the money for nearly anything, as long as you pay attention to the maturity. This is all I want you to care about here. Now, if you're not using a Square point of sale system, what is the alternative? Can you still qualify for this Square Capital no credit check business loan? Big decision time. Are you currently using a Square point of sale system? You probably are. But what if you're not? What if you are just thinking about, you're probably currently with Stripe or PayPal, and you're thinking about, should I move over? Should I stay with the competitor? But what if you don't have this? You might still qualify. There are other ways you can play the game. First of all, do you know that Square has a bank, or at least they offer banking services? They do, yeah. You have Square banking. So Square, you have to understand that Square is a fintech, right? They are a financial services company, not a bank. So banking services are provided by Square's banking affiliate, Square Financial Services, Inc. or Sutton Bank, members FDIC. So you can actually open a checking account with Square, for example. As you can see on the screen here, you have a Square checking account, Square business checking account. You'll get a debit card, and the account is fantastic. You can also pay it. You can also have a Square savings account. Square does offer savings accounts. So here, what I'm trying to say here is, I'm trying to tell you that you can establish a business relationship with Square, an MPR, a multi-product relationship with Square, and still qualify for this loan without using their point of sale system. Now, I'm not saying it will be easier, but you never know. You could try. We've seen people who tried and actually succeeded. So it's all about how you actually prepare the application. You will need to have an account with them, at least one account. It can be a business checking account or a business savings account, and you need to fund that account, at least have some movements in the account, so they're comfortable with your financial situation, and then they will ask you for your financial statements, right? Obviously, at some point they might want you to transfer your business from Stripe or PayPal to Square, but you can still play the game very safely and be approved. It's all about how you structure things, okay? All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about Square Capital's no credit check business loan, how to get approved, and I gave you an overview, the loan details, who the loan is for, the pros and cons. I gave you an example of the loan, how everything is calculated, the use of loan proceeds, And if you're not using the Square point of sales, there are other ways to qualify for a loan through Square. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.